All right. Okay. Can everybody hear me? I want to make sure I can hear you guys too. Okay, good. Because this is definitely an unusual setup for me. So I want to make sure everyone can hear. All right, I'm going to turn my volume all the way up. So if anybody has any questions along the way, we can, of course, go over those. But really, we're just here to go over the KWB resources website because I want to make sure, obviously, you guys know where all of those resources are available to you. Because as a new agent, you guys have tons of tools right at your fingertips. So I want to make sure that you guys know exactly where to find them. And thank you all for being so flexible and meeting with me through Zoom today. I appreciate that. I hope you guys had a really good time at Ignite, and we will go ahead and get started in just a minute here. Let me just go ahead and I will share everything with you guys. All right, so let me scoot this bar out of the way. And I am just gonna minimize your faces here on the right-hand side just so I can see the screen a little bit better. If you guys have any questions along the way, personally, I find it super hard to remember my questions by the end. So if you are like me, you are welcome to drop them in the chat as they come up, or you are welcome to go ahead and unmute yourself and then ask away. So we'll go ahead and get started, guys. Again, like I said, we're just looking at the KWB resources website. This usually takes us the full hour. And then if you guys have a couple additional seconds to spare, I absolutely understand if you don't. But if you do, I would love to show you one additional feature that I really like to share with you guys. And that's actually on a separate website, but it takes about 2 minutes of time to share with you. So we'll go ahead and get started with KWB resources. When you guys arrive at this website, this is exactly what our lovely homepage looks like. And then we are going to go ahead and start diving right in. So the first thing I always share with you guys is this new agent button. If you were to select the new agent button, you'll see it opens up to a new window here. And when you're looking, you'll see a couple of different buttons that you can then select. The first one is under this getting started option. If you were to select the learn more feature here, it actually opens up to like a PDF here, and it just highlights what the onboarding process looks like, which most everybody on this call, thankfully, is all the way through that. So I'm super grateful and welcome aboard. But a couple things I do like to mention actually typically are towards the bottom here, and that is actually going to be the things you can do immediately. So the first is we're going to look at KWB resources together. The next is that we're going to check out the office calendar as part of this process, joining Ignite, which I know all of you are actively in it currently, so that's super exciting, and I hope you guys are enjoying it thus far. We'll take a look, or I'll at least reference some of the Facebook pages. I highly encourage you to join if you are fans of social media. And then we're also going to talk about some of the office meetings to attend, but we will go ahead and get back to that original screen here. Ooh, get out of my feed. Ooh. This is why I don't like laptops. So we're going to go back to our new associates tab here. And then we're going to take a look on the right-hand side under this basic training feature. If you guys select the Learn More button, it's actually going to take you guys to Scott Leroy Marketing's website. So for those of you who are not quite as familiar, Scott Leroy Marketing is who would have created all of your KW technology. They got you that email address, they got you your website, they've given you just about everything, keys to the kingdom, right? So beyond just the initial tech setup, Scott Leroy Marketing is actually very helpful. And you guys are able to then see on Scott Leroy Marketing's website a lot of the different things they have to offer. One of the first things that I tend to show you, just because we happen to be on this page, is there's a little search bar here, which of course makes it very easy to access different avenues on their website and find out what they have to offer. But the first thing I always show is just an example. If you guys search QR code, I know those are very popular right now in print and digital marketing. So if you guys scan or select QR code, you'll see here that you can even create QR codes for free through Scott Leroy Marketing. So if you guys don't know how to do that already, that's absolutely fine. It's kind of a weird thing to learn. So there is an option for you guys to do QR code creation. You can even go in, fill out just a little bit of information regarding mainly who you are, what your contact info is, and specifically what website you want this QR code to link to. After you filled out this form, you can hit submit. Anytime that I've worked with Scott Leroy Marketing, I tend to actually get this QR code back to me within an hour. So it's a very helpful tool, especially if you guys are planning on utilizing QR codes, especially, again, if you don't know another resource to get that done through. They make it quick and easy. The other couple things I like to share here as well is this agent resources button at the top. It did used to be a tab, so there's just one additional step here before we can see that drop-down menu. But if we click on the agent resources option, it's going to then ask us to type in our market center number. And as you can see, it's already auto-filled for me just because I think my computer knows this pretty well at this point. So you guys will want to type in the number 350. That is a number that if you've not already noticed, it comes up a lot. So when you type in that number, if you hit the login option, you'll notice that this agent resources button at the top now has a downward arrow next to it, meaning it's a drop-down menu. The thing I specifically point out here, although there's plenty of great information, is this training option and then training calendar. If we select the training calendar, guys, it is actually going to show us that Scott Leroy Marketing offers live trainings on your KW technology from 1 to 2 p.m. Monday through Friday. I like to share this with you guys because although we have some phenomenal classes offered in the Market Center, both in person and Zoom through Jules and Leah, this is another option for those of us who might have a slightly more complicated schedule and it's just a little bit harder for us to make that Tuesday, Thursday work. Maybe a Friday, as we can see here, might work better for us. So you guys can check out what their topic is for that particular day. And then you can also go in and you can click on that Zoom link and jump into a live training. So again, you guys know you're going to be getting great information because it's coming directly from one of the sources that partners with KW. So that's a great resource to help supplement with that KW technology education. And then the other thing I like to share with you guys is this store button. If you select the store option here, it's actually going to take you to agentstore.com. The reason I show you guys agentstore.com is one of the most common questions I tend to get as a new agent is, are my business cards provided for me? How does that work? And the unfortunate answer is no, they're not provided for you. But the great news is that you guys can access some pre-done templates for Keller Williams and all at a very reasonable price point just using agentstore.com. So if you guys go in here, I don't know if it's going to make me go through all the steps, but I'll give you a quick tutorial. If you click business card, and then it's going to take us here. You can see all those templates briefly. It's just going to ask you to select Keller Williams and then tell them what market center you're with. And it'll offer Valentine. And then when you get into this site, you'll see pre-done templates that you can choose from. So the biggest thing here is this is very helpful, of course, for those of us who maybe are not as creative naturally and maybe just want something to have and to hold and to take with you immediately. This is a great option for that quick and easy button when it comes to getting your contact information on a business card. And again, they're great price points. So if you guys go through this process, I personally have ordered business cards through here before, and it makes it super easy because some of the Valentine information is automatically in there. I really just have to go in and fill in my own information. And then I can hit select, go through the process and order those. And for me, this was a couple years ago, so inflation, we all know that that's a factor here. But 2 years ago, I was able to get my business cards from this site and it was only $39 and I got 500. So absolutely something to keep in your back pocket if you're looking to get your business cards ordered. For those of us who are a little bit more creatively inclined and maybe we want to really highlight our own brand, you of course can go through Canva or Vistaprint or similar websites like that and come up with something that's very custom and unique to your business. The biggest thing with that though is I always encourage you to run this design by Tasha Viney first because she's our BIC associate and she will be able to tell you, yes, you've got everything you need on there. No, you are not going to real estate jail because you're missing something or you have something you shouldn't. So definitely make sure you guys are consulting Tasha when ordering this, especially provisional brokers. You guys are actually required to go through Tasha to order this information or to get this all taken care of. So keep that in mind when placing an order for your business cards. The biggest reason we say this is I would hate for anybody to order something that they paid money for and then not have the opportunity to utilize it because there was something missing on it. So keep this in mind, guys. A great tool here. You can even go so far as to order name tags as well through that website. So it makes it very easy to get some great branding done and easy marketing for you. I know name tags are very popular among several of our realtors. So if that's something that speaks to you, please do check out agentstore.com because that's a phenomenal resource. But now that we are back to our original website. We're back to KWB resources. The reason we only highlight a couple key bits of Scott Leroy marketing is because we could honestly spend all day there. So in hopes that you guys will explore that on your own, we're going to jump right back to where we started, and we are going to continue scrolling down here. You'll see that we do have some recommended Facebook pages. Again, if you already have a Facebook and this is something that you're really excited about, hold on, chat. If we go through SLM and put in the Valentine Market Center, should we send the business cards to Tasha? Harper, I would recommend still consulting Tasha. I don't know that it is as much of a requirement because ideally that design is going to have a lot of what you already need on it. But just to make sure you've covered all your bases, I always recommend still consult Tasha on that, just to make sure before ordering that you are all set.
Okay.
And yep, I was going to say, and then the only thing I would say too is that Tasha's actually really good. She's in the office. So you guys could stop by her office really easily. And if not, you could literally just text her a quick picture of it if you really wanted to and say, hey, I'm new, I'm ordering business cards. Would you take a look at this design? And then hopefully she'll get you an answer back right away. And that way you guys can proceed with ordering everything.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And then so now that we are back to those Facebook pages, again, if you guys already have a Facebook page and you're looking to get plugged in, this is a great resource for you. This top Facebook page specifically is actually going to, I'm so sorry if you guys can hear the bird that is now tweeting right outside of this window. We are looking at the internal Facebook page here for our Keller Williams agents. This is going to be just you guys as agents in our office, as well as your leadership team. So me, Lynn, Teresa, we're all part of this page as well. And this Facebook page is great because it helps you guys to kind of stay connected with all of the agents in our office, which we see, obviously, you can tell as you've been in the office, not all 500 of us are in the office at one given time. That'd be a little hectic. So if you guys are looking to plug in with agents that may or may not be frequenting the office as often, this is a great resource and tool to use because it allows you to communicate on a broader spectrum. When you're on this Facebook page, you'll see constantly our agents are communicating with one another about different opportunities that are coming up and things of that nature, whether somebody's looking for someone to help hold an open house, maybe do a showing, or maybe they're talking about a listing that's going live that they want you to take a look at. There's tons of ways for you guys to plug in and kind of get your foot in the door as a brand new agent. In addition to that, on that Facebook page, because I am on there, I will be bombarding you constantly with all the trainings and events that we've got going on in the Market Center. And that's because, again, I want you guys to know exactly what's offered here so that you can plug in to anything and everything that is interesting, exciting, and you think would be of value to you and your business. So that is definitely one to join. Very similarly, this next Facebook page is also an internal page. It's actually just our agents and our vendor partners. So not every KW office actually has a vendor program, but we are one that does. And what that means is we've actually got several vendors in the area who have decided to actually pay to be part of our vendor program so they can communicate with agents just like you and get to know you and build relationships and hopefully help you guys out with your clients as well. So with this vendor Facebook page, it's a great way for you guys to see who is part of our vendor program. They're constantly on there talking about the different services that they offer, maybe a promotional deal that they're running as well. So it's a great way for you guys to easily get access to different vendor partners and build relationships that way. The other beautiful thing about Facebook is that there's a search feature at the top of it. So you guys could easily search electrician, plumber, anything of that sort. And anybody in the vendor program that is doing that or in that industry will populate right then and there. So it's kind of an easy tool if you don't know somebody already that you want to refer any work to, because obviously we know, one, we should be consulting the clients and getting their approval on anything. And two, I know as brand new agents, we sometimes don't already have somebody in the business that we know and trust. So the idea behind our vendor program is that all of our vendors have been vetted by other Keller Williams Valentine agents. So you know that you guys are getting access to somebody that you can trust because their services have been recommended to us. So another great Facebook page, I apologize, my nose is so itchy, but another great Facebook page for you guys to be part of. There's also two additional here that we would encourage if you would like. This is a Charlotte area realtor network. So it's a way to communicate with all agents in the Charlotte area, not just with KW. So it kind of broadens the horizons in your circle. And then also the KW Carolinas region, so it helps to get you plugged into all of the Keller Williams information for all of the KWs in the Carolinas. There's tons that they do. They also offer regional events. So it's another way for you guys to stay on top of trainings and what's going on in the region that you are welcome to plug into. We'll keep going. Down here, you'll notice that there is access to what we call Kellerisms. And really what that means, I won't click on it, but it'll open up into another PDF here. But really what Kellerisms refers to is the language that you might be hearing in the halls of KW, because part of our wonderful culture, we've developed almost like this own little language of ours. So some things you guys might be familiar with. So when we talk about capping, I'm pretty sure everyone's somewhat familiar with what that means. But if you're not quite sure, or if you hear something a little bit more obscure, like a 145, and you genuinely have no idea what that is, you're not alone. It happens. There is plenty of terminology that's thrown around that is specific to KW. So if you want to hear or learn a little bit more, maybe in real world definitions, this will actually break down all of those terms for you so you know what people are referring to when they're talking about something specific. And of course, you guys can always ask a staff member or another agent. We're happy to help, but we know sometimes that those questions come up at weird hours, and we also know sometimes you can feel a little shy, and that's okay. And you're welcome to reference this sheet instead if that speaks to you. And then if we scroll a little bit further down, we have talked, almost everybody here, we've talked before when we were referring to the Scott Leroy marketing setup, and I was going over it with you when we met together to finalize. We talked about some of those resources that were out there for you guys to help understand how to navigate the KW technology a little bit better. And one of those resources that we went over was called answers.kw.com. If you don't remember, don't worry. Answers.kw.com, guys, is a great tool. It's a separate website that actually allows you to specify what platform you are working with, whether it's your phone app, whether it is KW Command itself. If we're talking about other websites like maybe KW Connect, and we're having any issues, maybe we're just trying to figure out how to do something for the first time or troubleshooting something specific, answers.kw.com has a ton of help articles on it that actually allows you to review different solutions or understand how to navigate the platform better. And it gives you screenshots as well. So it's really easy to then visualize what you're looking for on your screen. So if that speaks more to your learning style, I would absolutely recommend that you take a peek at it at some point, maybe especially in moments of uncertainty, although you know you have us as resources as well. Answers.kw.com is here to help. And there's a second website, kind of a sister website. It's called ideas.kw.com. That one is not shared here, but ideas.kw.com, guys, is actually looking for your agent feedback. So if you guys ever have feedback about Command, we all know we're using it probably for the first time. So if you guys are realizing, hey, I think that this feature on this one screen would be so amazing if it was conveniently located on this other screen. So simple things like that, that's feedback they do want to hear, because they want to make sure that Command, of course, is developed to be as user-friendly as possible, especially as your CRM, because that is something you're going to be living in. So in that event that you have suggestions, please drop them in ideas.kw.com. They're always looking for that so that they can start unveiling those same little bits and updates throughout their system updates. So keep them posted on anything you may come across, and know that obviously I don't supervise that website. So if you don't see like an immediate email from me saying, thanks so much for your feedback, it's because I don't have any kind of say in that. But our tech team and the Command developers are always looking for that feedback. If we scroll a little further down, we will arrive at an opportunity to download some of those Ignite materials you guys are working with. Hopefully you all have them at this point in time, whether digitally or you guys have the physical copy that you would have purchased. But if you do not, you can download them here, and that way you have access and can follow along for future sessions. And then we will arrive down here towards our training calendar. But the other thing I should have mentioned at the very beginning here is that on our website, there is a ton of different ways that you can pull to the same information. So this is going to be one of the more convoluted ways to get to the training calendar. I'm going to try and simplify and remind you guys where you can easily locate the office calendar if you don't already know. So we'll bypass this little button here today, and we're going to go further down here where it's referring to conference rooms. So if you guys are ever looking to book one of the 5 conference rooms we have in our office, you are more than welcome to use those resources. They're free and readily available for you. The only thing that I usually mention when it comes to our conference rooms is, one, these conference rooms are intended hopefully to only be used for 2 hours at a time or less. And that's just to help keep them on rotation because, again, we have a very large agent body. And then the other component to that as well is that we look for you guys to utilize these rooms when you're collaborating with others, whether you're having a coaching conversation, a client consultation, or maybe you're just collaborating with another agent. This is going to be where you guys can absolutely find a private area to do that. And our conference rooms actually all vary in capacity. So you guys can find either a nice and quiet space that's a 4-person conference room, or you can open up into the larger conference rooms that are towards the front and by our lobby. Beautiful, like clerestory window. And those are going to be 8-person conference rooms. So no matter what you guys are planning to do and how many you're expecting, you'll know right away by booking a conference room if it's going to be suitable for what you're doing. And we also have 2 focus rooms, which is new to us at our new office space. And our focus rooms are actually independent workspaces. So again, we're trying to honor the 2 hours at a time just to make sure they're rotated. But our focus rooms are located just outside of the back door to the training room. And they're literally these tiny little offices with 1 desk in there, so that if you guys are looking for just a private space to have a phone call, maybe you're lead generating and don't really want to do it in the hub, I get that, especially maybe if you're cold calling. So in that event, you guys are more than welcome to book a focus room. They're there for your use and it's always free. And then the other thing I always mention with this too is this is actually done through a separate site. So what you'll want to do is you'll hit the register button. It will then allow you, oh, sorry about that. It will then allow you guys to go into that site. You'll log in for the first time, and then you should see a spreadsheet that opens up. On the top, you'll see that it's listing all the conference rooms by name. It's telling you their capacity. And then down the left-hand side, it's going to tell you all of the time slots in the day. So it's super simple. You can see when the availability is for a given room, and you can just drag and drop for your own reservation. But of course, if you guys are ever having difficulty on this, I am an admin on that site. So you're always welcome to shoot me a quick email or stop by my office, and I'm happy to help you guys manipulate anything that you might be trying to book if it's giving you kind of any difficulty, so to speak. And for easier access to the conference room specifically, if you just hover your mouse over the More option, you'll see here it says Schedule a Conference Room. That way you guys don't have to remember like all the steps we took to get here. But scheduling a conference room is available right there in that drop-down menu. And then if we go back, I'm actually just going to take us back to our home page because that was just underneath our new agent tab. Promise we'll start to go faster. As we go through our home page, you will see all of the wonderful people on our leadership team here. It's telling you again what all of us do on staff and also what our contact information is. So should you need to reach us, you know exactly how to do it. And then if we scroll a little bit further down, you'll notice Get Paid with Command. This is a great feature that Leah recently, goodness, added to our page. And this is going to be a helpful tool for you guys because it's going to highlight 2 key videos. The first I always talk about is actually this bottom one, and that is Command and DocuSign. It's talking to you in 25 minutes about how the 2 platforms are linking and how you guys can set up your accounts to link together, because by default, your DocuSign is actually not automatically linked to your KW Command account. You will need to do that yourselves by entering your NERDS number in some setting there. And I don't know exactly the specifics on that. I know Leah's a little bit better with that, but this video will help you guys to make sure that that's all adjusted so that when you guys have that first transaction, no headaches, no hiccups, you guys can just go ahead and hit the ground running. And then this second video was a newer video because we've recently had a system update. And this is how to submit a commission request in Command. So if you guys are officially under contract with any transaction, you should then be going ahead and submitting a commission request because it's going to notify Lynn that you are expecting a closing to happen soon. So it's going to make it very easy for her to go in and approve your commission request and make sure that as soon as you guys get your check dropped off or mailed to us, that they're able to pay you on that transaction. You'll want to make sure that your commission request is in there and approved. And you'll also want to make sure that all of your documents and your opportunity are approved by Carla, and she is our compliance coordinator. Carla actually will be teaching a class next week on how you guys can make sure that you're in good standing and get all of your documents approved. If we keep scrolling down here, we will eventually arrive at the office calendar. But if you guys actually select this option here, it does all the work for you. You don't have to scroll. It takes you right to where you want to go. And when we're looking at the office calendar, I always tell you guys this is kind of choppy and difficult to read, and we know that. So with that being said, there is an option here to click here for full calendar view. If you guys select that option there, it opens it up in just a much more legible way. That way you guys can see what's happening in the Market Center, whether it's a training event, a regular scheduled meeting, or if it's a special social hour or something to that effect. We always have something going on here. So this is an easy way for you guys to get that overview and see what's happening. And by clicking on any of these specific events, you guys can see a full description about the event. If there's ever a link posted to the bottom, usually that encourages you to register because we do require it in those instances. But something like this coaching call, for example, on Monday, there's no registration required. You don't actually have to sign up through a link. But as an example, like Level Up Your Luxury, if we scroll down, you will see that we do have an opportunity to sign up. So we would click on that Sign Up Genius. It's like 2 simple steps and you guys are signed up. I know to expect you. And the reason for that is obviously our special events. We like to know a better idea of head count, especially when it comes to lunch and learns, because we want to make sure that we're ordering enough food. So if you guys already, I think we're introduced to Carolina Gold is doing a lunch and learn next Friday. So for those of you who are interested and can attend, it's right after Ignite. You'll just want to click on that event, scroll down, and you'll see the registration link. And that way I can promise that you will be fed. I would hate for anyone to show up and not get fed. So go ahead and sign up for that if you haven't already done so. And then you can start to play around on the calendar and check out all the other opportunities here because there's truly always something happening. So please pay attention, get involved in as much as you any questions about what you're seeing on our calendar, you are always welcome to reach out to me because I do a lot of work with it and I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. We keep going down, this upcoming events is really just highlighting some of those recurring meetings, one of which is our team meetings. Those are the second and fourth Tuesdays of the month, and those are constantly like really high energy. If you've not been to one yet, I would encourage you to do so. They're a lot of fun. Teresa's up there for about the full hour, and she is kind of either highlighting market updates, she's talking about upcoming trainings. It's really a good opportunity for you guys to get linked up with everything and anything that's going on. And then she's also going to refer to sometimes special guests are featured. It's a really great opportunity. Tasha provides updates. Jules and Leah provide updates for you. So a great way for you guys to stay in the know on everything. We also offer our vendors an opportunity to come in for these as well. So you guys can get connected to vendors just by attending our team meetings. And just to clarify for those of you who are on here, you will notice that I think actually not this next week, but the week after is our next team meeting. It will overlap with Ignite. What actually happens for that, because I get this question often, you guys, instead of going all the way until 12, that final hour is actually going to transform into team meeting. So you guys will just stay seated. We'll come in for team meeting, and then you guys can participate in that as well, because I know it is on your checklist. So that'll be a great way for you guys to knock out 2 things at once. And then, as I mentioned, Jules and Leah offer Tech Tuesdays, and those are done from 1 to 2 or 2:30 p.m. if you've got additional questions, every single Tuesday. And they're talking about different topics related to your KW technology. So stay aware of what they're bringing up, because that could absolutely be a conversation you want to jump in on. And then on the ALC side here, we actually have an Agent Leadership Council. These are top producing agents who volunteered a little bit more of their time to represent different committees at Ballantine. And when they're getting together for this major ALC meeting, what they're doing is they're actually kind of having discussion and they're making votes on behalf of Ballantine and the direction they want to see the Market Center go in. So we obviously want to make sure that any decisions we make as an office and as a Market Center are reflective of your desires and your interests as agents. So we consult with the ALC and allow them to make decisions on behalf of the Market Center to speak as your voice. So if you guys, you'll notice that this is on your graduation checklist, but if you guys attend the ALC meeting, the only thing that we ever ask is that you guys are just respectful and allow ALC to hold the floor. But this way you guys can stay updated on what those decisions are and what you can expect in the next little future of Ballantine. if we continue to scroll, we do come across our wonderful broker in charge, Miss Saber Romea, and our amazing big associate, Miss Tasha Viney. So both of these women are equally knowledgeable, very helpful, very patient and kind, I promise. So do not ever hesitate to reach out to either of them. I will say that Tasha's just usually the normal go-to for our agents, just because she's in the office regularly. She's constantly checking all of her communication. So Tasha's usually just a little bit more accessible, not to say that Sabra's ever out of reach. But Tasha can help field a lot more of those administrative or basic questions. She can even help with filling out concession letters for you and things like that. Sabra, on the other hand, we really help to defer all questions regarding legal questions and legal matters for specific transactions. Those usually go directly to Sabra. So that way you guys hopefully have an idea of who to reach about what your question is. But both ladies are absolutely here to help you. And you'll see there that their contact information is shared. And as I mentioned, Tasha's in the office 3 days a week. So you can see her office hours there. When she's in the office, she's actually just in the back hallway. If you basically shot straight past the training room and continued towards the back of the office building, you'll see there's a little bit of hall back there with different agent offices. Hers is one of them. She's got a sticker outside her door, so it makes it really easy to know that you're in the right spot. And if she is available and ready to talk, her door is always open. And then down here, you'll notice, obviously, we have steered away from the month of June, so renewals are not so much of a conversation at this point. But if you guys ever are wondering, like, am I in good standing? Do I have everything I need in order for my license to renew? Did I pay my dues? All the things, or maybe did I get enough CE credits and how do those work? These are all clickable buttons that open up into PDF charts for you that allow you to then review and see where you're at, whether it's giving you specific instructions on how to go onto the commission website or actually just showing you right then and there what the requirement is. It gives you a lot of insight and hopefully takes a lot of the anxiety away from making sure that you are in the right space at the right time and getting everything you need done. If we keep scrolling down, as I mentioned, our ALC, these are the wonderful agents currently serving on ALC. And if you see here, it mentions their name, their email, and the committees that they're serving. So our Social and KW Cares Committee specifically is doing more of the special events, the fun activities. Everyone loves to plan the parties. So they are always one of the most popular committees. And then we also have our Career Development Committee here, and they're really working on bringing in different trainings and events for our agents and making sure that our calendar is full of a diverse and great amount of value. Those two are right here. And then we also have our growth committee, which you'll hear all of these ALC members speak at team meeting and get to know them better. Our growth committee, though, is focusing on how they can help you guys to build your downline. So if you are interested in pursuing building your downline to create a passive income, growth committee is absolutely who you'd love to get connected with. They're phenomenal resources and happy to help give you guys scripts and give you opportunities where you can meet new agents and hopefully get that ball rolling. And each of these committees, guys, they are meeting once a month, not just for the overarching ALC meeting that we discussed, but they're individually meeting with their committees to have different conversations. So if you ever have interest in either hearing the conversations that they're having, maybe providing some feedback or opinions, or even just getting involved. I know some people really like the idea of growth committee. They want to do superior visits. Some people really want to help plan some of the fun events and want to like lend an extra hand with that. If you guys are ever interested, check the calendar. They're usually meeting on the first Tuesday of every month. So it's really easy for you to jump in on those meetings and start to provide either your services or your input on things. And they are happy to have you involved. All right. And then I'm going to take us a little bit further. And now we have arrived at our productivity coaches. So for those of you who are a little unfamiliar or maybe just a little confused, that happens. What we would have talked about when we met together is that you guys are typically, as a brand new agent, right? You guys are auto-enrolled into our coaching program. Our coaches serve as one of two pillars of mentorship that you guys are given as resources when you first begin. And your productivity coach is really here to help you guys set your business up for success. They want to make sure that you guys are launching in the right direction and not wasting any time in that first year. They want to help get you guys into action and get you into production. So they are here to help support you on your mission to become a great real estate agent. They're here to also serve as an accountability partner, which I think is huge. I always tell myself I'm going to wake up and I'm going to go to the gym. And you know what I almost never do? I almost never wake up early and go to the gym. And hopefully I'm not the only one. Hopefully you guys can relate a little bit to that. And if you can, their productivity coach is here to help avoid that pitfall. They are hopefully going to be here in your corner, cheering you on and checking in on you to make sure you're doing the things you say you're going to do to make sure that you are reaching the goals you set for yourself for that first year of real estate. So you guys will be assigned to a coach as part of your onboarding process. Sometimes it's a few days after you would have received all the tech setup information. And that's really just because Lynn likes to give you guys a moment to breathe more than anything, because there's a lot that comes your way. So with that in mind, she's actually just going to send you a quick email. She's going to tell you, here's all of the available coaching times. We've got a Monday afternoon. We've got a Tuesday afternoon. We've got a Wednesday afternoon. We've got a Monday or a Tuesday or Wednesday evening, I think. Don't quote me on that. But she's going to be able to give you all of those available times. And that way you guys can decide on one that's going to work best for you on a regular basis, because that's our intention, is that you guys can plug in regularly to receive the value that they're offering. And with that all being said, you just tell us what time works well for you. We'll get you assigned to that partner to make sure that you can absolutely access and utilize the resource you're being provided. So pay attention, be on the lookout for that email. If you've been here now for like a week or two and you're realizing like, hey, I don't think I've received that email, please let us know. All you have to do is send Lynn a quick email and say, hey, I'd like to be assigned to a coach. I'm not sure if I've missed something. But especially if you're at that week or two mark, please do not hesitate to reach out to her and make sure you're getting assigned. If you're not quite sure if you've heard from her, I would recommend searching your emails to see if she's reached out so that you guys can get plugged into a coach. And similarly, guys, your transaction partners are wonderful resources as well. They are more our contracts and forms experts. So I will actually be the one facilitating that email to you, but I'm just reaching out and asking you on a regular basis, again, what meeting time is going to work well for you so that you can plug in with these individuals. And you'll see all of their faces here. Sharon actually does both coaching and transaction partners. But all of these individuals are great resources, guys. They are here to help you make sure you understand those contracts and forms at a very, very high level. They're going to go over their content with you. It's a long program, we say, but it's like a 12-week curriculum. They're going over in depth with you all of the meat and potatoes that comes with those contracts, because they want to make sure you know how to fill them out, convey the importance to your clients, and then hopefully when you submit to Carla, everything's good. You don't have to worry about going back into them and getting additional signatures or additional initials anywhere. But the other thing that I always mention with your transaction partners specifically is that they are a great resource, almost as like your go-between between you and Tasha. They actually, because of their great knowledge and their successful businesses that they've built, they're able to answer a lot of those baseline questions for you before you necessarily have to take them to Tasha. So if you're wondering what specific form to use for this obscure transaction that you're working, that's a great person to ask. And obviously, as you get plugged into their meetings and are speaking with them and talking to them regularly, you guys should have developed such a good relationship that that's probably who you prefer to go to anyways, just because it's easy to talk to them. But these are going to be wonderful individuals to get to know. Keep going. When we get to the bottom here, guys, we're just looking at helpful resources and some frequently used sites, but we can access those easily from the top of the screen. And I'm just going to check on the chat here real quick. Will they review a contract before? Lisa, I believe so. I would recommend, usually what they do is they give it to you in such a way that you would basically know, ideally again, how to fill out for a baseline transaction, any of those contracts and forms right off the bat. But in the event that you've got questions, you're more than welcome to ask them. And if you would like to, I'm sure that, again, check with your transaction partner specifically, but I'm sure they'd be happy to glance over something for you and make sure it's good to go before you necessarily submit it or add it to your opportunity. Yes. I understand. I like another set of eyes on just about everything too. You never know for sure. This next screen we're going to look at, this one's brief. It's FAQs. So on our leadership team, if you don't know who to ask a specific question to, again, I know our titles don't always indicate what we do. Like, what is a market center administrator? I get it. So Lynn is really just the financial guru, we say. She does all money in, all money out. But if you are specifically having a question about your agent bill and you just didn't remember that part, that's okay. You hover your mouse over that tile, it tells you to reach out to Lynn and it gives you her email. This is also disclosed here. There's a bunch of just kind of basic questions or general questions here to help you guys know who you can contact about specific things. But of course, if your question is not really categorized here, you're always welcome to talk to me. I am happy to then help connect dots and get you in touch with the right person. The next tab I show you is on-demand training. If we select that button, you're going to notice this is password protected. So I'm going to backspace that password and kind of type it out with you guys. For those of you who are obviously online in your own space, you might want to write this down. You might want to type it somewhere in your notes. I will say it one more time on the next tab as well. So if you miss it, do not stress. But this password is very similar to the Wi-Fi. It's a capital B, lowercase a, M, C, 350. And then you can hit enter and you're good to go. The only difference between that and our Wi-Fi is there's no exclamation point, just to make it easy. On the left-hand side, once we're in this on-demand training tab, and again, I'll repeat that password. Once we're in our on-demand training tab, if you select this on-demand option, guys, it's going to take you to our Ballantyne YouTube channel, which is pivotal, I think, especially for those of us who have a more complicated schedule, or maybe now that it's summertime and hey, I've got a beach trip booked, and respectfully, I just don't know that I want to sit on a Zoom call while I'm at the beach. I'd much rather be reading my book with my toes in the sand. That's okay. We get that. So if you ever miss something, maybe sick or anything like that, we do not want you to feel like it was a one-time deal and you absolutely can't get that information. So this is here going to highlight anything you may have missed. Again, I should disclose this is going to be regular meetings only. This is not going to be absolutely everything that's offered in the office. This is only talking about our recurring meetings. And you'll see all of those playlists categorized right here so you know exactly what you can find on this website. The big reason for that is obviously not everything is offered through Zoom, especially. And the other component to that is, of course, we are encouraging you to participate in these trainings live. The reason is not to inconvenience you. It is only to give you an opportunity, as you're seeing right now, to ask your questions in real time rather than kind of have to jot a note and hope that you run into that person the following day. This is a way for you guys to hopefully get those answers and then get a better understanding of whatever you're looking for in the moment. So please do try your best, whether it's remote participation or in person, to be a live participant in all of these trainings. But should you miss something, maybe you miss a team meeting because of vacation, you can jump back and see the recording here. And then the other thing I always mention is that I am the one who uploads the recordings here. I usually do a pretty good job of uploading them weekly or every 2 weeks. So if you're ever noticing that you're not seeing a specific recording here, feel free to reach out to me, guys. I am more than happy to either make sure that everything's up to date, or I'm happy to send you the recording personally so that you can access it that way. I'm gonna close out. And then very similar in concept, guys, Scott Leroy Marketing, we've talked about this again as a part of our onboarding appointment. Scott Leroy Marketing, if you click their on-demand button here, it takes you to their YouTube channel. So Scott Leroy Marketing, sorry, that is so loud. Scott Leroy Marketing also offers a YouTube channel of pre-recorded trainings, tips, anything like that. They can be quick little videos to full-length trainings. So if you guys are looking to get involved and know a little bit more, especially again, if our schedules are a little more complicated, this way you guys can easily be involved, know what's going on, and get answers for that KW technology that you might be looking for. I also know, obviously, with Jules and Leah talking about different things each week, you guys might be looking like, hey, I'm actually going to run my first Facebook ad. I don't know what I'm doing. I want to make sure I've got the best information before going about that. You guys can check here for the pre-recordings and see if maybe Scott Leroy Marketing talked about that recently, because you know that Jules and Leah aren't going to talk about it for the next several weeks. Of course, you can always book time with them, but sometimes this is a little bit easier for you guys to do so that you can kind of get the information in the moment you're doing it. So do pay attention. Scott Leroy Marketing has a lot to offer. And then the other tab we'll look at here is office resources. So before I click on it, guys, we're going to see this drop down menu appear. The first thing here you're going to see is advertising guidelines. This is pivotal for you because this is going to then show you guys as agents what you are required to feature in your advertising, whether it's digital, print, anything of the sort. It's going to show you what you need to have in your marketing. It's going to show you what you can't have in your marketing. Did not have them set up a website for me. Is it too late? Madison, actually your website would have been automatically set up by Scott Leroy Marketing. So it should be in that initial setup that you received. When you got your email address and everything like that from Scott Leroy, in there will be your website. It's usually like just underneath the first two squares when you like open it up. This part would show, I guess for you guys, maybe this part would show your login information for command. And then this part shows you the email. Just underneath that, it shows you your website. And that was automatically developed on your behalf. It's just up to you if you want to try and do more with that. And I'd recommend plugging in with Jules and Leah because they'll be able to help you to produce more on that website. But if you can't find that, just shoot me an email because I'm happy to forward it over to you too. I hope that answered that question. So back to the office resources, your advertising guidelines, reference that, guys, especially when you're doing any kind of marketing for the first time. Make sure that you're covering all your bases. Again, you're always welcome to go back to Tasha and get double checked on everything. But advertising guidelines is going to be your friend, especially for those of us who may already be broker status. Technically, you're not required to go through Tasha. You guys have a lot more flexibility typically with what you can and can't do. But I always encourage, again, we want to make sure that we're not doing the wrong thing. So if you're like me, I would probably go back to those guidelines anyways, just to be sure that I am taking care of everything that I need to. And then the other thing here is a concession request. So you heard me say earlier that Tasha helps to handle concession requests. So if you've got an unusual transaction where you need to write a concession letter, Tasha can actually help draft that for you and get it over to you quickly. But what we found is that it's a lot easier when you guys fill out a Google form that kind of asks all the right questions. You can fill out all the information rather than you send like 50% of the information, she has to come back to you with questions, then you have to come back. It keeps a lot of that back and forth out of the picture. So the concession request there is actually going to take you, I think, to a Google form, allow you to type in what you need, and then she can get that letter drafted and sent back to you. So consider that, especially when you guys are having those unusual transactions when a concession letter is required. But then you'll also see here we have the do not call list. Obviously, a lot of us are familiar with that, at least from real estate school. That's going to be a huge factor for you guys, especially if you're considering doing cold calling, because several people in the world have decided, I don't want to be contacted by any kind of solicitations or anything of the sort. Certainly don't want to be contacted by a realtor or anything like that. So in that event, you guys actually cannot call them or you are at risk of a fine. They're pretty hefty, usually several $1,000s, and nobody really wants to pay that. Also, we found out recently, or like I found out recently, on top of that fine, you guys can actually face court time as well, which sounds miserable. So I would recommend if you plan on doing cold calling, please know who is on that list so you don't call the wrong person. We don't want to cause any upset. So if you click on that button there, guys, it will actually take you forward to see the step-by-step instructions on what you need to do to access that list. And that way you have all the contact information for the people you cannot call. So if we now just click on the office resources tab, these three items happen to just be easier, I think, to access right here than moving into the tab. But if you click on this particular tab, again, it's going to ask us for that password. So if you missed it earlier, it's a capital B, lowercase a, M, C, 350, and then we hit enter and we're good to go. When we're in the office resources tab on the left-hand side, we see this wonderful thing that says get forms under general forms. For those of us, I believe everyone on this call is North Carolina licensed. Some of us might be also South Carolina licensed, but if you are North Carolina licensed, you can click the get forms button here. It's going to open up to a Google Drive folder that Sabre put together. She felt that these forms were something she was frequently asked about, and she just wanted to make it one step easier for you to get them in the moment that you needed them. But these forms in particular are going to go over more KW Ballantine specific things than the state contracts and forms that are available to you in DocuSign and Zip forms. So when you guys are in this wonderful little folder, you'll see that we've got I know our office W9 is located in here. So when we're doing referrals and we need to make sure our money is going to the right place, We're going to want that form in particular. We have some addendums. We have disclosures as well about some of the partnerships we have with title companies. We also have septic and sewer, which is something that Sabra is very big on having that information for everybody. We've got referral forms as well. So there is a ton of information on here that tends to be more specific to this office. So just pay attention. The biggest thing I always tell you guys is that if you're in DocuSign and you're noticing you can't find that septic and sewer form, it didn't populate, it's because it lives in this folder, and vice versa. If you're noticing that you can't find your offer to purchase in here, for example, I'm pretty sure it's in here, but if you can't find something specific in here, it's probably because it's a state contractor form and it will be available to you in DocuSign or in zip forms. And I'm just going to go back to the chat real quick. Okay, hold on. That was Madison. And then are the forms linked with DocuSign? They should be, as long as you are up to date with your payments and you are affiliated, which you are. Everything should populate automatically through DocuSign as long as you've linked your command in your DocuSign account. So you'll want to reference that first video that we showed on the homepage. If you just scroll past our pictures, you'll see the videos that Leah has posted. And if you've got questions or you're not seeing a form come up, you're welcome to reach out to Jules and Leah. Specifically, Leah is really gifted with DocuSign. She'll be able to give you more information on why you may not be seeing it, if it's a glitch on DocuSign's part, or maybe if you like everything looks good in DocuSign, maybe you need to contact the commission and make sure everything's straightened out there. And then below it will say, where are you finding this? Sorry, multitasking. Mikey, this information is posted under Office Resources. And then we just clicked on that tab. We typed in the password BAMC350. And then we just clicked on this Get Forms option under General Forms. Did that help? Perfect. Okay. And so now we're back to the specific Google Drive folder. So again, guys, between your DocuSign account and this Google Drive folder, you should have access to everything you need. If you're in one and don't see something, check the other. Pretty simple way, I hope, to make that work. And then if you go on to become South Carolina licensed, you can find the South Carolina equivalent on this right-hand side here. The middle option here for Get Checklist, if you open this up, again, a Google Drive folder that Sabra actually drafted herself. I do assume that a lot of this stuff is going to change now because of the NAR settlement and the new updates for the forms. But for the time being, this is where you guys could go to access a lot of the checklists. Sabra's drafted basically an overview of a given transaction. So no matter what side of the deal you are representing, no matter what state you are currently using your license for, whether it's now South Carolina or North, you guys should be able to see a full checklist with all of your responsibilities detailed, any timelines that are specific to that responsibility. And then you can literally, if you're a pen and paper kind of gal or guy like I am, you can literally go in and then check off everything to make sure all your ducks are in a row, because we know those first few transactions are not muscle memory yet. And we certainly don't want that to slow you down or make you feel any less confident going into it. So you want to make sure that you're referencing those checklists just to cover all the bases. If you ever have any questions, that's a tool that's here for you. I'll close out of that, but truly all the information here for no matter what side you're doing. And as you guys get more comfortable, you won't even have to reference it. It's great. When we scroll a little bit further down, a couple things here. The CE shop is offered. We do partner with the CE shop. We also partner with Superior School of Real Estate. Those are two partnerships that we actually get discount codes for your real estate education through. Whether it's pre-licensing, post-licensing, CE, does not matter. It's all available to you. If you guys want to see what our Superior discounts look like, you guys can just come down to discount codes for real estate education under this More tab, because it will detail all of them. You can easily access them. The great news is with these discount codes, they're not just for you. You guys are welcome to utilize them yourselves. Of course, we want you to, but you can share them with other realtors if you really would like to, or someone, maybe you've got a sibling or a family member, friend even, that's trying to get into real estate. You can absolutely make their day by sharing these codes with them, allowing them to get that at a discounted rate. And the great news is there's no obligation for them to then join KW Ballantine. They can just take advantage of the code and they don't have to feel like, oh my gosh, now I'm like contractually obligated to join KWB. They are not, but hopefully they choose us anyways because we're great. We have fun here. But when we're on the CE Shop website, the couple quick things that I share with you. The first is obviously if we are going to go get that South Carolina license, maybe we are interested in, do we want to do self-paced learning? I've never tried it before. Maybe it'd be a good fit for me. CE Shop offers a free trial for you guys. You can check it out for a whole week and then decide, yay, I loved it, I want to commit, or I hated it, don't think that's right for me, I'm going to go back to Superior. But this way you guys can check out what that would be like and see if it's a good match for your learning style. And then if you scroll down and down and down, you can even see what the discount codes they're offering will do to the price point of any of these packages and things of that nature. I will say the CE Shop, their discount code fluctuates. It could be anywhere from 20 to 50% off. So you'll want to stay updated. I'm posting any like 1-day sales to our Facebook page. That way you guys know, but you can always come back to their specific site and see what's going on and if there's a discount available for you. And the last thing I show you on this website, it used to be at the top, and I swear I look crazy when I'm showing you like the fine print at the very bottom, but under Agent Essentials, you'll see this button called Hot Topics. If you click on Hot Topics, guys, it actually opens up into a library of ebooks, podcasts, blogs, and videos. It makes it really easy for you guys to not only get information relevant to you as an agent that you can utilize and take advantage of, but also for those of us who plan on doing social media marketing. I know that it's difficult sometimes to come up with original content and stay in front of everybody on a regular basis. So if you ever want to hit that easy button and just share something else that already exists, utilize some of these articles, these videos, these blogs. They are available to you to share very easily. Just drop the link in a post and look, you did your job for the day. It makes it pretty easy. So that is typically just the couple items I talk about on this particular site. And that's again, all through the CE Shop. This particular option is Hot Topics and it's at the very bottom. We close. We'll see really just numbers to know down here. There are going to be some numbers down here that are referenced that you might not have come across before and may not need very often. But if you are maybe getting that South Carolina license and you need to know what our firm license number is for South Carolina, and you're like, I've never seen that number before. That is usually enclosed here in the numbers to know. So it just kind of helps you guys out a little bit. Maybe for referrals, you need our tax ID number. That information is shared here as well for your convenience. So you guys can always come back to this particular section of the site to find that information. But if you don't remember that by the time you need it, you can always come back to me. I'm happy to point you in the right direction. Tech resources, we have covered a lot of this. It's just kind of highlighting the same information we've discussed and where you can find it pretty easily as well, so that maybe, again, just less scrolling for you. So tech resources is going to be pretty much anything relevant to your KW Tech or anything that Jules and Leah have to offer. Under the More tab, just a couple things we'll really talk about rather than share, visually that is. ALC meeting minutes, for example, if you guys missed the overarching ALC meetings where they made those votes on behalf of the Market Center and you're like, oh my gosh, I really would love to know like what we're doing in the next month or two, like what should I expect? You guys can jump into the ALC meeting minutes. It's a Google Drive folder that houses all of the taken minutes from those meetings, so you know exactly what was discussed and what you can expect. The prayer request form just below there is more of a talking point for us, and that is really just to emphasize you guys are our family. We take that very sincerely and seriously. So if there's ever anything going on in your world, please, please, please do not hesitate to let us know. We want to make sure that we're adequately supporting you and making sure that everything's all right for you. So whether that's something, you know, personally happening or maybe something with a family member, just keep us aware as much as you're comfortable, because we are happy to be there for you, give you a hug in the hallway, give you any kind of support that we really can offer. And if you believe in the power of prayer, we are happy to pray on your behalf as leadership team. If you really want to emphasize and build up on that prayer power, we're even happy to announce it to the whole office to get you even more prayer power. Just let us know how we can help you guys whenever anything is going on. Please, please, please. And then if we go down a little further, KW Perks is more about insurance. If you're new to independent contracting, you've never not had insurance through your employment before, or maybe your spouse doesn't have it. Maybe you're young enough that like you just got off of your parents' insurance. If that speaks to you at all, KW Perks is going to be a great option for you. Keller Williams partnered with Capstone Financial, and you guys can now search the insurance marketplace to find something that works well for you. And our agents are on average saving, I know it's more than 10%. I will never get that figure in time for this class, but I know it's more than 10%. So in the event, even maybe you have insurance, it can't hurt to look and see if there's a better option out there for you. So do check out KW Perks if it speaks to you at all. It's a great tool. We do have access to the scheduling conference room, KWB firm exclusive listings. So if you're maybe looking for something for your buyer clients and nothing on MLS is matching what you're looking to offer, we do sometimes have firm exclusive listings. And what that means is a Keller Williams Valentine agent has taken a listing that they only want to offer to other KWB agents. So it doesn't necessarily show on MLS the same way that a regular listing would. This KWB firm exclusive listings is a Google sheet. So it's a live document, and that way you guys can stay updated on like any listings that are being offered specifically to our office. And then that way, hopefully, if you were having any difficulty finding something on MLS, maybe there is something out there that you just didn't see, and you can connect with that agent in our office and figure out if that listing is going to be great for your buyers. We also have access to the strategic vendor partners option here. If you click this button, guys, I will actually show you this one. It opens up to, again, a live Google sheet, and it shows you all of the amazing people in our vendor program. So maybe you forgot to join that Facebook page, or maybe you just hate social media and you're not big on Facebook. I understand that. So in that event, you guys still might want to get connected with great vendors. So we do have all of our wonderful vendors listed here by category. So this way you guys can easily find great people you can know and trust and reach out to them to get a quote. Again, some of these are going to be more geared towards you guys, maybe for the financial planning element. But if it's something that a service that can be offered to your clients in repair of their home or anything of that sort, all of their information is posted here. You'll see our specific contact, their information, and you'll even see if they've got a website, the services they offer. It's a great sheet. You'll see too, under HVAC, for example, we only have one gentleman currently listed. That doesn't mean we hate HVAC technicians. It just means that only one HVAC technician is currently in our vendor program. So in that event, if you know somebody that you've worked with before and you love them, maybe a good family friend that you can vouch for their services, we would love to get connected with them, because this really is a win-win opportunity for the vendor partners as well. So in that event, all you have to do if you'd like to recommend or refer a vendor to join the program is connect them via email with Angela Bueno, who is another agent in our office. She's currently overseeing our vendor program, and if you've not yet met her, she actually has business cards right at the front desk by Sue. So it's really easy for you guys to send a quick email, just add that vendor on there, and Angela does all the legwork. She explains everything else about the program to them. All right, so now I've bumped us back. Okay. So really quickly, discount codes for real estate education, we spoke on that. The Outfront Magazine option, again, if you're doing social media marketing and you want to hit an easy button, guys, I've been there, I understand. Outfront Magazine does some monthly publishments, and it literally highlights a whole calendar, and it says every single day of the month what you guys can be posting to your social media. So it makes it one step easier. You don't always have to use your brain or come up with original content. You can literally rip off and duplicate, which I know sounds like plagiarism, but in real estate, it's a really good thing. If something's working for someone else, it can work for you too. So check out Outfront Magazine if you think that it would be a good fit for your business. And then the last thing, I know, again, we've shared this before during our meeting together to finalize your onboarding, but this I need tech help button, guys. If you click on it, it allows you to see Jules and Leah's calendar, and you can book 30 minutes of time with them for free just to discuss what you'd like to talk about. Whether you're saying, hey, I'm a brand new agent, what should I be doing with my KW technology now that I have it? Or if you want to reach out to them and say, okay, so I think I am finally at the point in my business where I'm ready to start doing smart plans. I want to do some touches through, background. I don't want to have to actively do all of it. They can help you guys to teach you the beginnings to the advanced, all for free. And then if you guys are really, really at the point of growth in your business where you're ready to say, I'd like to unload some of that and get my time back, they can actually take some of those services off your plate, and they can do that for you through concierge services that they offer. They are a great leverage resource for you. They even partner with transaction coordinators as well. So if you guys need a transaction coordinator, they're a great place to start, at least just to get a quote, right? So yes, all you have to do is click by selecting the 30-minute time block you'd like. Specify your information here. You can designate, are you meeting in person with them or are you meeting remotely online? And then tell them what you want to talk about in that meeting so they can prepare and be ready. So no time is wasted. You just hit the ground running. But that kind of covers, okay. That covers everything that I planned on sharing with you guys on KWB resources. And I know it's a lot, and I'm so sorry if it felt a little bit overwhelming. What I always tell you guys is I basically just front loaded you with all the information. You don't necessarily need to access all of it at once, but it is something to know exists out there, is really the big takeaway I want to leave you guys with on KWB resources. So what I always recommend is if you're like, okay, that was a lot, my biggest recommendation is go home if you're not already. And over the next several days, guys, just take a peek back at the website and just go through one by one and try to familiarize yourself with where some of that stuff was that we talked about. If you're realizing you can't find something, you can always reach me via email. Typically, I am in the office. You can usually call me and stop by. Today happens to be a bad example, but I'm happy to help show you guys again where that information lives so that you can always access it when you are looking for it. But with all that being said, I know I mentioned earlier, I'm going to take like 2 more minutes of your time to show you one last thing for those of you who can stay online with me. But before we navigate away from this website, how do we feel? Do we have additional questions? It is kwbresources.com, but it looks like there's an A in that. Lisa, oh, yeah. So, oh, nope, you're good. I was like, the only reason that might not work is because I see a typo, but that could just be, yep, a little typing boo-boo. So yes, it's kwbresources.com, and hopefully you guys can see that on your screen. That's where you'll want to go to find everything we just looked at. But any other questions, you can drop them in the chat or unmute yourself before I show you one last thing in a different site, but I promise we'll keep it brief. I feel like that's a good sign. If I am going to be prematurely moving forward, for anybody who is trying to like quickly unmute themselves, you can still speak and you can still drop in the chat. I'm just going to show you the quick next thing, and I will jump back if I need to. The last thing I show you guys is how to do an office email blast. And the reason we do that in this particular class is because we realize that this is actually not being talked about, or at least it wasn't at a time in any of the other trainings. And it's a really valuable tool for you because it's minimal effort, maximum result. So when you guys are looking to do an email blast so you can distribute information to all of our agents, even our leadership team, actually, in a quick and easy way, you guys will want to go to a website called mykw.kw.com. So it's right there in my little web browser portion. It's mykw.kw.com. You hit enter, it does take you right to where we were. I actually already had the website queued up. And it's going to ask you for your login information. And for those of you who don't already have that handy, this is the same login information we created together. This is the same information you're using when you're logging into KW Command. So it should be pretty easy for you to recall. And if not, you know exactly where you can find it in your Scott Leroy marketing setup. But once we have logged in there, if it wants to play nice. Okay, hold on. Bad example. Let me make sure I typed that right. There we go. Okay. I swear I typed it right the first time, but that's okay. When we open up, you guys will see this is the screen we're looking at here. This is a wonderful new site for us, but I will only show you again the key features we're talking about. If you guys, as a little sidebar, if you ever need to look up another agent's information and you know they're with Keller Williams, but you don't know their contact info, White Pages right here, if you click on that at the bottom, guys, that is an internal search engine for KW. You guys can access other agents' contact information just by searching their name. You guys can even go so far as to look up specific market centers or areas and then find agents in those areas. Maybe if you're trying to do a referral for an area you don't already know somebody, White Pages is a great tool. Does it give the actual address? Address information for the agent, like their home address? I don't believe so. I believe it just gives them the market center address is what you can visibly see on there. And then, whoop, yeah, I was gonna say, I was like, I don't want to, yeah, I don't like giving out personal info like that. And then on the same little section here, you guys are gonna see my KW/MC350 intranet. That is what we're gonna take a look at. You guys click on that option. It's going to open up into, again, kind of like we've seen before, this is a library full of different content and other prior email blasts or posts. So you'll see the library exists here. That way you guys can go back in. Maybe you saw something come through your email and you would like to reference it now. I know, like, I just posted something about a new social, just saying. If you guys want to jump in and sign up for any of that, I'm talking about the different trainings and events. Other agents are in here talking about open house opportunities and things of that nature. Sometimes they need help, and this is a way that they're reaching out to try and get in contact with an agent who can help them. But for those of us who are looking to create our own email blast, if you hit this add a post option, it is going to now give you category options. You guys will not have this option available to you. It will be grayed out. So you guys will actually select the associate post option. But when you select associate post, it's going to allow you to designate a channel. It's really just helping to categorize the information that you guys are sharing. It does not change the visibility for anybody unless they're specifically filtering for that channel. But you guys can always pick whatever applies best to what you're trying to share. Agent announcement, of course, being the most general. But when you click on agent announcement or whatever category you choose, it's going to allow you then to create a post title up to 100 characters. This 100 character post title is coming through as the subject line of your email. So when I see that come through in my Gmail account, this is what I'm seeing. You guys can also then add a URL to this so that you can link other agents to this information or direct them to a site. And then you guys can create what's called a post blurb. And that post blurb will allow you to type up to 190 characters, which you can see there. I know 190 characters is very brief and not always enough, and that's understandable. So what I always encourage is if you need to share more than 190 characters, you still can. You'll see this little in red add full message option just below that post blurb. If you click on that right there, it will allow you to type freely as much information as you like. My best recommendation for you, if you do have to add information in here, this post blurb is what actually shows as the body of your email if I click into it. So post title is my subject, post blurb is my body of the email. But obviously, if you have additional info in that full message option, you might not be able to see it, but there is this really cool little blue button in the email I would receive from one of you. And right below your post blurb, it'll say view full message is a blue button. I can click right on it and it'll take me to all of the information you've shared here. My tip for you guys, based off of my own experiences, is if you need to add information here, I always say type away, but then make sure that your last like couple characters are saved to say like see full post or something to that effect, so that agents know there's more information to this message and I should click on that button in order to read it. You guys are also able to add up to 12 photo files or PDFs as well to this. And that way you can add attachments, basically, that these agents can then review as well. So again, just to reiterate, your post title is the subject line. You can include a link to a site. You can add a ton of different files. Again, we're looking for JPEGs or PDFs. So make sure if it's not one of those two, you do your best to convert it to those. Your post blurb, which is your subject of your email, or sorry, your body of your email, and then your additional opportunity to type more information in full message. When you guys are happy with everything that you have put in here, all you have to do is hit this publish post option. And when by selecting publish post, it is then going to trigger that campaign and that little message to trickle into everyone's email address that's affiliated with KW Valentine. So it will go to all 500 agents as well as the leadership team. The only downside or caveat I would say to this is that I do not believe you guys will receive a notification in your own email of your message. So sometimes it can be a little difficult to know if the message went through correctly. So in the event you're doing this for the first time and you do want to double check and make sure that it went through properly, all I would suggest you do is just shoot me a quick email or stop by my office and say, hey, Liz, I just did my first email blast. Would you mind like looking in your inbox to see if you received it? I am more than happy to do that to make sure it was a successful transition of information. So just reach out to me. I'll double check for you, but all you should have to do is hit that publish post button, and in the next several minutes, it'll go everywhere it needs to. So this is a great opportunity for you guys, again, if you're looking to hold an open house, or maybe you need help with something as you get to that point, whether it's holding an open house or maybe getting help for showings, maybe offering your services as a showing agent. I also see sometimes if buyers or sellers are looking to like unload furniture quickly, people will send in messages about that as well. But tons of opportunity here for you guys to, again, communicate with everyone all at once, especially if maybe the Facebook page is just not your favorite platform, and that's okay. Does anyone have any questions about this particular portion of the conversation on mykw.kw.com? All right. Okay. Well, so again, like you can easily just jump in and say something or drop it in the chat. But I feel a good sign. Oh,
Sorry, I'm in a restaurant with family here.
you're okay. Did you have any?
Highly recommend. So, question, I hold on, baby. So about I logged in 5 minutes into it, and I saw you were just talking about the QR code. And I'm like, yes, that's exactly what I was looking for. But how do I get?
To the QR code generator? If you're looking at for the QR code generator, Mikey.
Yeah, sorry about that. Not sure if you can
No,
hear
no,
me.
no, you're totally fine. I just want to make sure I was like hearing you correctly, because also like my signal is iffy right now. If you're looking for the QR code generator, when we're on our homepage here, probably the easiest way, back at KWB resources, we're on our homepage. Under tech resources here, click on the Scott Leroy marketing in the drop down menu. It'll take you to their website. You could honestly just Google search Scott Leroy marketing if you really want to. But when you're on their homepage, I think it's on there. If not, then we can just go in. Sometimes it's a little difficult to get where I want to go. Sorry about that. Usually there's a search feature in here, but Scott Leroy Marketing is who does it. So if you need to, I'm trying to see if there's a different way that you can questionnaires. See if it's under questionnaires about. I don't know why it's not showing me that little search bar anymore, but if you need to access it, hold on. I'm still in the site somewhere in here, I thought. When I usually show you guys by clicking on, initially, I show you by clicking on new agents. And then the very top option here under basic training, it says learn more. And I guess that just opens up into a different part of Scott Leroy marketing. But right here in that search field, just type QR code. And then the QR code generator is right in there. So I'll go back through it really quickly. All we did was we started on KWB resources. We went to the new agent button by clicking right here. And then we jumped over into this screen. When we clicked on that button, we go to basic training, learn more, and then we type QR code in the search bar. Thanks, guys. Have a good weekend too. But any other questions for those of us who are still on? If not, of course, you are welcome to dismiss. I appreciate your time, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your weekend, and I will see you on Monday. But if you do have a question, feel free to please stick around. I'm happy to take that question for you. You're welcome, Mikey. All right. Well, thank you guys so much. Have a great weekend. I will end the call now, and I will see you guys on Monday. Thank you.